Hello everyone, friends! I want to share an incredible bun recipe. They stay soft for a long time and the crumb is so delicious that it's impossible to stop eating. We'll add a secret ingredient to the dough that will take the buns to a whole new level. I highly recommend everyone to try it. You can find the source link and all ingredient measurements in the video description. To start, pour 1 cup of milk, 250 milliliters, into a bowl. Check with your finger that the milk isn't scalding hot. In this recipe, if you don't have milk, you can use warm water. Add 1 heaping tablespoon of sugar, that's 25 grams. Then add 17 grams of dry yeast, 1 very heaping tablespoon or 50 grams of fresh yeast. Stir. Next, sift 100 grams of flour through a sieve, roughly 4 slightly heaping tablespoons. Mix the ingredients until the flour lumps dissolve. Even if a few dry spots remain, that's fine. The result is a liquid starter, poolish. Cover the bowl with plastic wrap or a kitchen towel. Leave the starter for 10 to 15 minutes at room temperature so the yeast activates and it rises. If your kitchen is cold, place the starter in a turned-off oven or microwave with a cup of boiling water nearby. Meanwhile, prepare the remaining ingredients. Crack 2 room temperature eggs into a large bowl. If you forgot to take the eggs out of the fridge in advance, place them in hot water for 10 minutes to warm up. Add 200 grams of sugar, 8 heaping tablespoons, half a teaspoon of vanilla powder or 1 sachet, 10 grams of vanilla sugar, and a pinch of salt to balance the flavors. Then add 250 grams of sour cream of any fat content, or the same amount of kefir. I'm using 15% fat sour cream, which I took out ahead of time. It's also at room temperature. Melt 100 grams of butter in the microwave or in a saucepan on the stove. Add it to the rest of the ingredients and stir. Look how well the starter has risen after 10 minutes. Give it a stir. This means the yeast is active and the dough will rise. If your starter hasn't grown, wait another 10 to 15 minutes. It may just be a bit cool and the yeast needs more time. If it still doesn't rise, the yeast is likely bad. Add the starter to the rest of the ingredients. Since it's summer and warm in the kitchen, the starter rises right before your eyes. Mix everything together. Now sift the flour through a sieve and add it gradually, since everyone's ingredients differ slightly and you don't want to overload the dough. I first sifted 3 250 milliliter cups of flour. Along with the flour, add 1 level teaspoon of baking soda. This is the secret ingredient that will transform the dough. Optionally, to give the dough a lovely yellow color like homemade egg yolk dough, add half a level teaspoon of turmeric. Sift the dry ingredients in and mix the dough with a spatula. Add 2 more cups of flour and knead the dough by hand in the bowl. If the dough feels very sticky, add more flour. If it just slightly sticks to your hands, you have enough flour. I used 800 grams of flour plus another 100 grams in the starter. 900 grams total. You may need a little more or less. Aim for somewhere between 900 grams and 1.1 kilograms. Once all the flour is incorporated, let the dough rest for 10 minutes to make it easier to knead. Grease the work surface with oil, transfer the dough and grease your hands as well. Knead for about 10 minutes. I set a timer on my phone to make sure it's done properly. Whenever the dough starts sticking to your hands, grease them with refined vegetable oil and continue kneading. This makes the process much easier. The finished dough should be elastic, soft, and slightly tacky. Grease the bowl with oil, shape the dough into a ball and place it back in the bowl. Cover with plastic wrap and put it in a warm place for 1 to 2 hours until it has grown at least 2 to 3 times in size. I proof my dough in the oven at 30 degrees Celsius. If the minimum temperature of your oven is 50 degrees Celsius, simply turn on the oven light instead. Alternatively, you can proof it in a turned-off oven. Above 35 degrees Celsius, the yeast may die. After 1 hour and 20 minutes, look how beautifully the dough has risen. Punch it down. Grease the work surface with oil, turn the dough out, shape it into a ball and divide it into 20 equal pieces of about 90 grams each. Take the first piece of dough, gather the edges toward the center and round it with your palm to form a smooth ball. Shape all 20 pieces this way. Line a standard baking sheet with non-stick parchment paper and arrange the balls with a little space between them. I'm making plain buns since I'm taking them on a trip. If you like, you can flatten each piece into a disc. Add a filling such as stewed apples, jam, a cottage cheese filling or condensed milk with nuts, and pinch the edges together to form a round bun again. Do whatever works for you. Cover the buns on the tray with a towel or plastic wrap and leave them at room temperature for 20 to 30 minutes to puff up. For the dough and buns to rise, the room must be warm. If the kitchen is warm, leave them right on the counter. If it's cool, place them in a turned-off oven. Meanwhile, make the crumble topping. You'll need 20 grams of cold butter, 30 grams of sugar, 1 heaping tablespoon, and 30 grams of flour. Also, 1 heaping tablespoon. Rub everything together with your fingers until you get a roughly uniform crumble. In a separate bowl, beat 1 egg, or better yet, 1 yolk, with 1 teaspoon of milk or water. The buns have puffed up. Now brush them with the egg and milk mixture and sprinkle the crumble on top. Bake in a preheated oven at 170 degrees Celsius for approximately 25 to 30 minutes until golden brown, using top and bottom heat without convection. The smell that fills the house is absolutely incredible. Words can't describe it. Take them out of the oven. The finished buns are unbelievably soft and fluffy, like little clouds. The special thing about this dough is that the crumb is rich, moist, and at the same time very airy and light. The baking soda here acts as a supporting ingredient. It reacts with the sour cream or kefir, making the crumb more porous, tender, and fine textured, and the baked goods stay soft for much longer. As you can see, the dough itself is quite rich, with both sour cream and butter. Thanks to the combined action of the yeast and baking soda, the dough rose well and quickly, and the finished buns turned out soft and airy. I want to highlight that the crumb in this recipe is particularly delicious, especially impressive given that I added no filling. The buns are beautifully yellow inside, have a lovely pull-apart texture, are medium in sweetness, and have a buttery, very rich crumb, just the way we love it. This dough can be used for all kinds of filled buns or even sweet rolls. As I mentioned, these buns stay soft for a long time. I'll show you. 4 days later, the bun is still soft and delicious. I didn't reheat it. I simply stored it in a sealed bag. It's cold, yet it hasn't gone hard at all. And if you warm it in the oven, it tastes just like fresh. So, friends, there is definitely good reason to add baking soda to a rich yeast dough. It really does improve the result. If you liked the recipe, go ahead and give it a try. As always, I ask you to support my video with a like and a subscription. I look forward to your comments. Wishing you all peaceful skies above. Until next time, my dears. Bye bye.